Hello and welcome in.
Please do not leave your luggage unattended on the station.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome back. Empty chair. Our friend is running late. Not entirely surprised, but he will be here. Okay.
Traffic.
Took a wrong turn.
Oh, construction.
Anyway, he will be here soon. We love you, BK. We miss you. Get here as quick as possible. But while we wait for BK, I have a fun game we're going to play at the very top of the show to jump things off. The game is this. You have a 3 Mississippi countdown.
Okay.
And we have to come up with as many back and forth Bo Nix slangs, sayings, words
Okay.
that tie in Bo Nix. We're only feeding Bo Nix good energy this week. I've got my 5280 shirt on. I'm feeling swagged out today
Okay.
because I'm feeling like Bo Nix is going to bring some swag this weekend
Swaggy.
against the Seattle Seahawks. So we are going to go back and forth, you
Okay.
and I,
Okay.
with our little fun Bo. What is the word? Like play on words. We're
Yeah.
playing on words, and the word is Bo.
Okay.
And we're going back and forth.
Back and forth.
There he goes. It's already in it. Okay. 3 Mississippi. We're not going to actually count, but you can just know if you start taking too much time, you're out.
Got it.
Okay.
All right.
Fire it off. You're starting.
Let's go to the bodega.
It's Bo time.
Have you ever been to Bora Bora?
Have you ever wore a bolo tie?
Man, he's the bomb.
He's oh gosh. Boner.
And not boring.
Bojo with the mojo.
Bodacious.
Botastic.
Bon appetit.
Bobo juice.
Okay.
That was
Hey,
good.
have you ever put on some Bose headphones?
No, but I tend to
What do you tend to do?
I tend to bow to the grocery store.
Oh. Well, have you ever thought about getting a little Botox?
I do get Botox, and I also thought about bowing to the spa for a massage.
Speaking of that, have you ever been on a Boeing 747?
No, but I do like boats on the ocean.
Have you heard of Elon Musk's company called Boring?
I haven't, but I have heard of the Bodacious Instagram app.
You just doubled it up. We did Bodacious already.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, I said Bodacious.
Well,
Let's
you
take a
stole my
ro-
word.
Well, let's take a little ride on the Boulevard.
Colorado Boulevard.
That's
That
right.
is good.
Yeah,
That should be a shirt.
yeah, Colorado Boulevard.
Which ones are we missing? Because that was really actually way harder than I thought it was.
Have you
gonna
ever
be.
played bocce ball?
No, but have you ever had bochi ice cream
Ooh, that was a good one. That was a good
or
one.
drank a boba tea?
No, I haven't.
Hmm.
Have you seen that apartment complex on Lincoln, the Bovalon?
Nope, I haven't.
It's pretty good.
This was way harder than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah.
Bow and go sound very similar.
Yeah.
Let's bow.
That kind of sounds like lesbo.
Well, maybe nothing.
There's nothing wrong
There's
with
no
that.
hate to lesbos.
No, there's nothing wrong with
or let's bow.
that. Yeah, let's bow.
Let's bow or lesbo.
Yeah.
Whatever
Let's bow.
suits your fancy, really.
Cool.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was not bad.
I mean, how many did we get?
a good probably 10 or 12.
Well, mine were kind of, I was struggling a bit.
Yeah, I mean, after the Seattle Seahawks get their ass kicked on Sunday, they're going to have to take some Botox to kind of just.
Oh, yeah. All the tears.
Yeah.
And they might need to, I was going to try to say doctor. It's not going to work. They may need a bowscription for depression.
I don't know if that works.
I like it. So it's going to just stick around.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, spaghetti-o. Uh-oh, spaghetti.
Hey,
The leg popping up.
You guys missed the obvious. The Broncos
What?
heading to Seattle are going to go 1-0 en route to going 17-0 and then 20-0
Wow.
and winning the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl!
We're headed to the
What about-
Super
what about-
Bowl.
Bo, my gosh. The Broncos are Super Bowl bound.
Wow.
It
Super
works.
Bowl. Super Bowl. By the way,
That was
after-
a great one.
Yeah,
You
good
came
job.
in here ready to go,
I
firing
was,
it
I was
up.
ready to go.
Super
Do you have
Bowl.
any more that we missed?
Circumstances out of my control on a few things, but I'm sure I have
Smack, smack.
plenty. Well, I'm going to be in Seattle this weekend where they have great poke bowls.
Yeah.
Bowls.
Yeah.
They might
That's
say
a good
bowl.
one.
I guess the same as Super Bowl.
If you get
so
any free time, you think you might go bowling?
I might.
Yeah.
I don't know how much free time I'm going to have landing at 9:30 and being
What
on
if
the
you-
radio
what-
at 7 a.m. But
What if you take a boble bath?
Ooh.
That's not bad.
That'd be nice.
Boba
like
tea was
that.
a good one.
Do you think
Or
like
eat at Boba Gump.
boba gum? Do you think you'll like your room is going to be their hotel room is going to be comfortable?
Comfortable is good.
Comfortable is good. If we're just going to insert bow into words that don't really fit, I think we can
You
have
could
a
do a
lot more
lot.
fun.
You really could do a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was good. One in Bo, headed to the Super Bowl.
And go 20 and bow.
Yeah.
That is
17
good.
and bow in the regular season.
I think Super
Wow.
Bowl is the one.
That is
Super
it.
Bowl.
Because you can ride that for many years,
Super
and then once he
Bowl
wins
bound.
it,
And what Super Bowl number is coming up? Is it 56?
59?
9, is it?
59.
Well,
yeah, that's right,
fif-
59.
Super Bowl 50,
50
was
was-
when I was
yeah.
a senior in high school.
Generally,
Oh,
well,
wow.
can't do that math,
Wow.
but
But that was 2016. So
yeah.
it is
So
Yeah,
59.
2016.
well, how about it's been 8 seasons?
Yeah.
Since Super Bowl 50, because the
So
Broncos
58.
haven't made the playoffs in 8 seasons. So
Ouch.
58, yeah, 59. So next year,
But it's a
Super Bowl
new year,
60.
fellas.
It is a new year.
And we've got a lot of Bo-tastic conversations to
A lot of
have
Bo
today.
Leaf
We
and
got a lot of Bo Leaf and Bo Nix going one in Bo to start the season against the Seattle Seahawks. But before we get into all things Bo Nix, I do want to ask both of you about your immediate reaction, thoughts to the Thursday night football matchup between the Chiefs and the Ravens. We both were on the Chiefs.
Yep.
We made money.
Thought they'd win.
You
They
lost
covered.
money,
I didn't bet
Um,
money, but
but your
just
prediction
pride.
was wrong.
correct. My
Yeah.
pride was hurt.
Yeah, pride was hurt,
You're
which
like, am I gonna sleep tonight?
yeah, he didn't sleep.
Great
last
game
night.
though,
That
right?
was probably
I
baby
didn't
Very,
sleep.
related.
Baby
very
related.
great game.
Sad. Baby related. Didn't sleep. Didn't get to watch as much of the game as I wanted. I watched the second half this morning, and man, I mean, look, you look at the stats. I'm not a huge stat guy, but the Ravens controlled time of possession.
Mhm.
They had 50% more plays from scrimmage, 74 plays, the 50 plays that the
Mhm.
Chiefs ran. They outgained them by 100 yards, but the Chiefs just know how to win.
They do.
They know how to win
really
games,
upsetting,
and
actually.
whether or not the refs are on their side or the game is
There
tilted.
were some missed calls.
Yeah.
Let's be so for real.
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
inaccurate or
What
uneven.
about that?
Right.
What about
With the
that
formation,
illegal?
but-
What
yeah.
about that illegal like timeout that was
Yeah, Spags called it. You're not
what in the
supposed
world?
to be able to
and
do
they just
that.
like brushed over it.
The
like
head
oh,
coach has to
whatever.
do it.
I'm not sure that
that
that's true.
accurate?
No, I'm not sure that's true. I think the head coach wants to, only because I heard Robert Saleh. There was a great podcast that is out there with Jordan Rodriguez from the Athletic, where she talks to, it's all about Shanahan and McVay and all those guys, all these young coaches, Matt LaFleur, that all work together, and Saleh. And Saleh said his first year in San Fran, he runs down and calls a timeout, and Kyle Shanahan looked at him like, what the hell are you doing?
Oh, really?
But in that case, where you're on defense, there's 10 seconds left and you have all 3 timeouts, I'm sure Andy Reid doesn't care. So I don't think that's a violation. I just think it's an unwritten rule that only the head coach should be calling time, or a player on the field.
Well, it felt very
could
illegal.
Yeah,
Well,
obviously
you know what I
a
mean?
player. But you
So-
talk about missed calls. There was also Roquan Smith definitely made contact with Mahomes way into the boundary late. And I'm
well,
not,
he kind of put his hand on his back, and
But
then
there's- I mean,
Mahomes falls.
I get it,
and
because
your
the
momentum is going
I get
faster
it.
than his. You're running up on his back.
I
What are you
ju-
going
I'm
to do
just
with your
saying,
hands?
letter of the law, if they throw a flag there, I don't think anybody freaks out like, oh well,
That's
Roquan
true.
Smith's the best linebacker
I think maybe
in
the
football.
point is they would have probably thrown the flag for another team.
Oh,
No,
they didn't
and
throw
that
it.
that
In
time they
incident.
didn't. That was one time that the
Oh,
Chiefs
they
didn't get
they
it.
weren't on the Chiefs side.
Yeah.
But that was
Okay.
about the only time in the last 6 years that they haven't been.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
other than the Travis Kelce throwback from Kadarius Toney,
Right.
where Patrick was
I have a
whining in the
take.
presser.
I'm not gonna say it. Wait.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say.
Well, I have
I'm-
a bunch of takes I'm
no,
not
listen.
gonna say.
No, listen. I'm not gonna say that I think Travis Kelce should retire
Whoa.
because I would be attacked by people. I'm not gonna say that, but I just did.
Why
Why?
retire?
Okay, and here's the thing. It's not because he's bad or washed up. That's not what I'm saying.
Oh, that
What
makes
I'm
less
saying
sense.
is I don't think he is at the caliber of where he's always been, which is fine.
Based
he
on
shows up
last
in the
night?
playoffs. I'm not talking necessarily last night. What I'm saying is he just got $100 million deal for his podcast. He's
Oh,
dating
yeah.
Taylor Swift.
Mm.
He has won he's won 3 total Super Bowls, 2 back-to-back. Just go vacation, go chill.
Well, that's
like,
you
'cause
know,
we were
I'm
having this
not saying because he's
conversation-
bad, but I'm just saying the league is getting very young and fast, and he's getting
But why
older.
wouldn't he want to keep playing as long as they'll pay him and they reworked his deal and gave him an extension? He's still effective. And that's what he does. He has the rest of his life to still date Taylor Swift and do his podcast, which he's doing now anyway.
Well, maybe
But you
I'm
can only
just
play-
sick of watching him.
Well,
I don't know
that's
what
a
it
different
is.
I think that's
conversation.
it.
But
Yeah.
even Andy Reid, right? Like I was having this conversation as we were walking out of practice yesterday with Jason, who's our great photographer here at Gorilla, about Andy Reid and people saying, "Oh, he should move on," or like, "Oh, is he about done?" Well, he's got one son that unfortunately passed away, another son that's right now incarcerated.
Mhm.
His grandkids from his son that was working with him on the staff they're in Kansas City, but he's got the best quarterback in football.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason
Entering
for
his
him to retire.
prime, which is crazy to say, and he just signed a 5-year extension. So,
I guess if it were me and I were Travis Kelce, I would just be like,
but you know what's cooler than 3 Super Bowl rings? 4 and 3 in a row, which no one's ever done.
meh.
And it's
playing-
also like, you know, all that stuff that he has going on off the field. I'm sure that's not always that fun. And so the
You don't think so?
No, not always. It's, you know, the real world can be annoying sometimes, and the more business ventures you get involved in, the more crap comes your way. And your sanctuary as an athlete is the field.
Mhm.
That's where you get to go and just be with your buddies, be in the locker room, not play the politics of the real world, not deal with executives and meetings with, you know, content people and all that. You just get to go out and play.
Of course.
And
That's his
so-
and it's his passion, and I
Yeah.
know that. And I think more than anything for me, it's just like I used to watch Travis Kelce, and it was like like there was just this spark.
You've lost that loving feeling.
It's like drinking a flat soda watching Travis Kelce.
Is part of it because you've watched him fall in love with Taylor Swift?
No, I think Taylor Swift was great. I'm a huge shake it off, shake it off. I love Taylor Swift. It has nothing to do with what he's done in his offseason. I also love his podcast. I love
But look
Jason
at-
Kelce. I love a
but
lot of
look
things
at-
about Travis Kelce.
So if you examine his life, we don't have to spend too much of our Football Friday on the Kelces. He's seen Jason struggle with wanting to retire the last couple of years.
Of course.
Jason also has 3 young girls at home and his wife that is happy to have him around some, it seems like. But if you listen to their podcast or even that the reaction to why he wore jean shorts to their or football short, whatever.
Jean
He
shorts.
wore something to their he basically came in workout clothes to the premiere of that Kelce documentary.
Okay.
And he's like, look, I was at football. And as you know, as somebody who played football and you weren't married then, and Travis isn't married yet, but football does allow you to stay in a routine
Mhm.
and use it as an excuse that you don't mind that you have to go work out but if he doesn't want to do something, and even if he's with
Yeah.
Taylor wants to hang out with her, if he doesn't want to go on whatever other stuff, and the podcast, he shows up and he does it at his house. I don't think there's a lot of planning there beyond looking at the rundown, which he may not even do. Jason may handle almost all of that, other than, hey, we got these 2 new things. So he can hide behind football and use that as, like you said,
Listen, this is just my preference.
a reprieve, I guess,
Yeah.
from the real world.
My preference is, or my observation is that at one point, watching Travis Kelce play football was like drinking a crispy McDonald's Sprite that shocked your brain because it's so carbonated. And now it feels like I'm drinking a soda that's been sitting out for a few days. It's a little lukewarm.
Look, you
doesn't hit
played
the
that
same.
position. You played that position. Even if there's a slight athletic decline, he still gets open.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
got that.
Yeah.
He's got that innate.
There was one
thing-
catch you
he's
should have
got
caught.
that
He didn't. What?
innate thing with Patrick,
Sorry, what?
and they're not relying on just him now. They trust those other guys, and you add some weapons when Hollywood gets in there too.
And he has so much playoff experience, and he
He
such
does
a
show up for the
gamer.
playoffs like
That's what
crazy.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's a long season. 17 games is a long season. So yeah, let's not rely on Travis in the first half.
Maybe
of the
don't make him
season.
your fantasy tight end. I guess go get
Yeah.
get
Don't
Likely.
worry,
Go get
he's
Isaiah
not.
Likely,
Isaiah Likely.
and not Mark Andrews.
Yeah, I
He's
know.
not.
I
he's
almost
not-
drafted Isaiah Likely because later rounds because I
Yeah.
saw him last year.
Yeah, and he was awesome.
Yeah. And he's going to be a guy this
If
year.
he can
My
stay in
tight end-
bounds.
my
if he
tight-
can-
That's
My
true.
fantasy
What a
tight end is
catch.
Kincaid.
Dalton Kincaid,
Mhm.
you're in good shape.
Because I don't know who else Josh Allen plans to throw to besides maybe.
Keon Coleman. I hope Keon Coleman becomes awesome on
Yeah,
the field
he's
because
cool.
he's
He's
great
cool.
off the
Let's
field.
let's
Yeah.
also talk about just very briefly Xavier Worthy. My God, fast as a
I'm
Jaguar.
so mad I only have him on one fantasy team.
He just looked awesome. And he has that ability. I think he needs like differently than Tyreek Hill. I'm not saying that he's as fast as Tyreek Hill, but Tyreek Hill, we've
Close.
already talked about, gets fast.
Yes.
He's to his very fastest speed pretty much instantly. It's funny because Xavier Worthy got the ball last night, and I was like, okay, he's quick. And then it was like I blinked, and he just took off. Like
That's
he's
a heck of
gonna
a
be,
first touch in the NFL.
Oh my gosh, first touch in the NFL.
He's on pace to score 34 touchdowns.
Yeah,
Wow.
he looks great. It was very cool to see him. And obviously, I'm not a huge Chiefs fan, being a longtime Broncos fan, but you got to be excited for a rookie when that's their first debut and they look that great. And obviously, we saw preseason he was doing very similar things and looked awesome, but very different when you're up against a defense like the Ravens.
Yeah.
It's cool to be able to say, like, wow. One other thing, Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson can't pass. That's what the people say. Did we see a little bit of that last night?
Inaccuracies, absolutely.
Oh,
The deep ball, the one that Bateman caught was great, but the
it
could
breaks
have
my
been
heart.
touchdown.
Yeah.
Was that a couple plays earlier?
Yeah. I mean, he just kind of slings it. You
Yeah.
know, like a lot of these quarterbacks in the NFL are very technical, and he's not. He kind of just like is an incredible athlete.
He looks rushed.
And plenty
then
of
he
zip
just-
on the
wow.
ball.
Yeah.
Plenty of
It's too
zip. It's not
fast.
but
that.
it's not accurate. And so there's a lot of balls where, you know, you got Isaiah Likely going down the field, and you got to lead him to the open field and let him go get it. Instead, he lofts it, launches it, and he just doesn't give his receivers a chance to catch those balls because it just gets away from him.
Got to catch those
And
balls.
got to catch the balls.
Got to have balls in your hands, man.
Ball security, you know, ball security, like you were a rent-a-cop at a fertility clinic. Ball security.
Grab the balls. Hold them tight.
That feels like that would go above and beyond the Call of Duty. If ball
Stop!
security is part of the
No, someone's trying to raid the coffers.
Oh,
Man.
okay.
You know, there's someone
Yeah,
trying to steal the samples.
Yeah.
Ball security.
How many more divisions do we have to preview?
None.
But we do have a game to preview.
Yes.
do.
Oh, and I actually very quickly, I do have my hot take. Everyone in the comment section likes a little betting stuff. I'm going to tell you this. Packers money line. It's speaking to me. And I'm going to tell you what I am relying most heavily on in this one. I do feel like there's a coaching advantage here for the Packers. I feel that way. I feel strongly that way.
Not the
I like the Packers in this
most
one.
far-fetched.
I know that the Eagles lost some pieces to their offense. I know they added some pieces to their offense, but I think this defense is very questionable. And I also think, as much as I love Jalen Hurts, at times he can be questionable. What will we get from Jalen Hurts from season to season? So loved what I saw from Jordan Love in the postseason, taking down the Cowboys. And I think there is a big coaching advantage here for the Packers. So I think I'm going to have to do a little
What about
sprinkle.
Kellen Moore, though? What about Kellen Moore coming in to call plays as opposed to whoever it was last year? And obviously we know Shane Steichen was maybe the key to 2 years ago when they went on the Super Bowl run. And Nick Sirianni is just a head coach that may or may not get along with his best player or highest paid player.
I don't know. I just think
Big surprise.
yeah.
I'm going with the Eagles tonight.
As am I.
Yeah,
I'm on the Eagles.
I'm going with the Eagles
I
tonight.
just think they have a better roster. Yes, they lost to Son Reddick on
Well, that
defense.
doesn't mean a whole lot because you also went with the Ravens.
They
Dodo
should have
bird.
won the game. They almost did.
Okay.
Right? And it wasn't.
There's no.
I mean, we're both
almost
100%
winning in
right
football.
now.
You should know this.
We're both 100%, but by the end of the night, he
One
can
of
either be
us is-
0 and one of us is going to be 50%.
Ooh, wow.
I
So I hope
think
you're 50%. I'm
if
pulling
you
for
don't
both
feel
of y'all to be-
comfortable, if you
I'm pulling for
don't
both
feel
of y'all.
comfortable taking the Packers to win outright, because that does feel like a lot. They are the underdog. So if it doesn't feel comfortable to take the Packers to win
What
outright,
do they get? They're not getting too much.
I
though.
think
It's
the
half a
spread
point or
is
something?
3. I
Oh,
just
3?
hate that number because you'll likely get a push if it's a field goal game. Don't like a push. Nobody likes a push. So
It's like
I would just
kissing
say
your
I
sister.
typically if it's 3 or below, I will typically just ride with the underdog to win outright. I don't like, and it happens a lot, believe it or not, that a team loses by 1 or 2, and that's why Vegas has the line.
What's your
set so
percentage on that?
specifically,
Like
but
your personal preference to, if you like the underdog that's 3 or less, to just go money line.
about
how many
80%.
more-
I'll do that.
80%.
Oh yeah, I just full send it.
Okay. Not
Guess
80,
what?
not 8% of the times you do it. I'm saying how many times have you hit?
Oh God,
Yeah,
I'd have
that's
to
what I'm saying.
look.
What's that?
I'd have to look.
Well, we should start tracking. I'm gonna say we
We are going to
should.
start tracking our picks on this show. You are at 0. So the fact that you're taking Eagles, whatever, don't care. The fact that you're fading my second pick and you faded me the first time and weren't correct, I'm okay with him fading me again.
But they did.
Um,
They didn't really lose as much on. They just lost Jason Cut, which is huge because he's maybe the best center in football on the short list.
so that is a lot.
But they have all 4 guys back. They paid the left tackle to go with obviously Lane Johnson, who's getting up there in years, but still as good a right tackle as there is. And you add one of the most dynamic weapons in football to go with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Goddard at tight end. I know this. Saquon Barkley isn't hurt now. Can't say that all the time. He's been banged up at times, but he's been awesome for the Giants last couple of years.
Here's what I'll tell you. If you don't like a side in this game, you could bet the over. The over has hit in 7 of the last 9 Packers games. The Eagles have won their last 6 matchups against NFC North opponents, so that bodes very well for your guys' pick. But here's where I'm at. The Eagles are coming off of a late season collapse, going 1-6 straight up over their last 7 games and 0-7 against the spread. Meanwhile, the Packers finished 2023 4-0 against the spread, including the postseason. Additionally, the Packers have a tendency for hot spread starts. They are 13-4 against the spread in September since 2019.
Well,
so do with
those
that
quarterbacks
information
were named
what
Aaron
you will.
Rodgers, who won a couple MVPs, and I know Jordan Love's trending up. But
Yeah, don't be disrespectful to Jordan Love, BK, or I'll smack you.
Well, he's played 10 games.
Well, he
Is
looked
that
good
it?
in those 10 games, didn't he?
Or he looked good in the last 10 games. He's
Yeah.
played 17 or whatever,
Yeah.
16. I don't know how many he played.
Whatever. Going with Nate Eagles, Mr. Orange says. Mr. Orange, don't be a hater.
No, he's a smart guy.
Sounds like he knows what he's talking
person.
about.
Mr. Orange.
How many
is-
games are we picking? I know we got to get into the Broncos. And
We're going to break down. That's what
I just need
we're.
to know if I'm picking all 17 games.
No, gosh.
16
no.
games.
No.
Wait, it's 15.
So either way, do with that what you will. We've got Friday Night Football in Brazil, Packers versus Eagles. Let us know which side you're on. But let's break down the most important, because we do have kind of a hard out here today at around 11:45. So we've got 20 minutes now to break down Seattle, Denver, Broncos' first game of the season. The Broncos are on the road. It's going to be
You got your new
unbelievable.
shirt, part of the new uniform closet. For somebody that doesn't like the new uniforms, you're repping a new
Yeah.
5280.
Yeah, but it doesn't have those creepy little diamonds on the shoulder. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gotten it.
So you don't like hiking?
No. Are you?
Oh.
Do I look like a hiker to you?
No.
Right.
I
Not a
I had
hiker.
to go to Minnesota for the Nuggets playoffs. I asked my poker buddies, I'm like, what's there to do in Minnesota? Like, some pretty good hikes. So I don't hike in Colorado. I'm not going to start hiking around
Definitely
Minneapolis.
not happening here.
All right.
So Broncos are on the road. I'm going to pull up some FanDuel odds here just so that we can look at what we're getting here. Believe the spread is still 5.5. The Seattle Seahawks are favored by 5.5 in this one. And the over-under, obviously the under was a very profitable bet that you could place last year with this Denver Broncos team because they couldn't effing score. And in the second half of their season, they weren't scoring and also were playing way better defense. So the under felt like a lock. And I don't like saying locks in betting because nothing is a lock. But this is a pretty low scoring total
What's the total?
here. 41.5.
What's the lowest on the wheat? Let's see.
40.5 for Cowboys Browns. I grabbed that at
That's
42.5 and it's now dropped to 40.
You like the under on that?
I do.
Okay.
At 40, I would be a little weary, but I grabbed it at 42. We've got a few games that have 40.5 on their total. So that's probably the lowest that we're going to get. So the Broncos are second lowest in terms of totals for the week. 41.5. Nate, how are we feeling? Would you take the over or the under on that one?
I'd probably go under on that.
Okay.
The opening week games are notoriously low scoring.
Mm-hmm.
No preseason games, really. No off season, no double days of training camp. So the offenses take a while to come around.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the Seattle Seahawks head coach, a former defensive coordinator, likes to slow the pace of the game down, play the Ravens style football. And then, this Broncos offense hasn't been in the top half of scoring in the NFL in 10 years. Now, things are supposed to,
so horrible,
isn't it?
sad.
Points or yards
That's
in
so
10
horribly
years
sad.
offensively. So I want to see it before I can believe it.
Fair.
Believe it.
I want to
that one.
believe it, but only when I see it.
And also, for the Broncos offense, they got to deal with the 12th man. You guys have seen that scene in Dumb and Dumber when
Nope,
when they were
never seen the movie.
Have you heard of it though?
Of course.
You've never
Oh, of course.
seen it?
She hadn't heard of the Beastie Boys 2 days ago. So
She's never seen Dumb and Dumber, you guys.
Who's heard of the Beastie Boys anyway?
Everyone who listens to music.
Are you sure?
You're like, no, but I know the
Well,
Frozen soundtrack.
Yeah. Let it go.
I hear that way too much, and you will soon enough, Nate, as your daughter
I
starts to get
know,
into
I
it.
know.
But
It's a beautiful cinema.
great soundtrack. But
No, but Dumb and Dumber, there's a scene where they're doing a road trip and Jim Carrey's character says, you want to hear the most annoying sound in the world? And he just keeps doing that.
the whole time,
So Lumen Field,
What is the point of you just screaming like that?
he's
Lumen
making
Field,
an analogy.
I'm getting there, is 70,000 Lloyd Christmases all doing that same noise at the same time. The 12th man trademarked that phrase, which has been around for decades, because that's how much they think of themselves. You got to shut them up.
You're scaring me.
How about this
You
stat,
got to
though?
shut them up.
How about this stat about Lumen Field, which has been a big home field advantage, certainly the loudest outdoor stadium in the NFL, and it's
Wasn't it
well
created
documented.
acoustically? Too?
Yeah, they designed it to make it extra loud.
Yeah.
Because some stadiums, you're like, oh, they're just moving the noise meter up. Are we really looking at the decibel meter, or are they just going, oh, 108,
Right,
110?
right.
That place is loud. But since 2019, taking out no fans in the stands, but in games with fans, they're just 17 and 16 at home. That's with Russ for a big chunk of that, and now Gino
Wow.
the last 2 years.
Wow.
So just 17 and 16, similar to, think about the home field advantage you had when you got here and when you played here.
Yeah.
And basically through the Peyton Manning era, and well before that in the John Elway world,
You know
home
what?
field doesn't exist here, other than hey, you're a mile above sea level,
Yeah.
and they tell you. And we hear Conor McGay, he remind the opposing team that it hasn't been a thing in recent years, and I'm not saying that it isn't still potentially a thing in Seattle, where there will be lots of people in their
Noise.
stupid 12 jerseys, but
So
it's not what it was.
The noise, I have heard people say, and you're obviously a former player, so you know, I have heard people say that it is difficult to play in Seattle, very loud, as you're saying. You're not going to believe this, but I actually think I'm going to take under 200.5 passing yards for Bo Nix. I don't think that he has a bad game.
I said that yesterday.
But I think, I don't know how much we're really going to see him airing it out, slinging the rock. I
Yeah.
think that Sean Payton's going to have a game plan, knowing that this defense or this Seattle team got a defensive-minded head coach. They're gonna try to
And a good defense.
rough him up a little bit. A good defense.
Yeah.
So
They had
Yeah.
Byron
I
Murphy
think-
from Texas.
I think under 200.5. If I think you and I could be riding on that together. I
Wow.
think that's good.
What did they end up?
agree.
What did they end up putting
For
for his
once.
Wow.
total yards for the year? Because it was at 2850 before he was named starter. Then all the books
Yeah.
took it off.
Mm.
So I don't know if they've re-added it. I bet a couple bucks on Bo to win Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Then Xavier Worthy started playing. I'm like,
Let's
well,
see,
he's
the
12 to 1 right
Broncos,
now,
we've
so there's
got-
lower odds.
You know, Lumen Field,
Bo
the 12th
Nix.
man, there's a tribal council of 12 men, and they call themselves the
The-
Illuminati.
I saw it coming, but
3,015.5 for the year. Regular
okay, so
season.
that's only if 2850 was what it was before.
It's less than
what's
200 a game.
Yeah, it was 167 a game. It's what 180 a game.
Yeah.
Quick math.
So
maybe less.
my first pick, I guess Nate and I's first pick will be under 200.5.
Yeah,
passing
170,
yards for Bo Nix.
177 a game.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you where to go put money, but if you think he's going to start all 17 games, there's not a starting quarterback in the league that doesn't throw for 3,000 yards if they play 17 games.
Mhm.
Okay, well, do you have any bets for
You know
this
what Joe
game?
Burrow does when he plays?
This guy,
Do I have any?
not Joe Burrow.
He does that in
Do
5
you have
games.
any?
Yeah.
We're about to get to
can.
anytime touchdown scores, but do you have another pick in this game? We're riding with Bo Nix under 200.5 passing yards in this matchup. Do you have any other bets in this matchup outside of an anytime touchdown score, which we'll get to?
Yeah, Broncos to cover.
Okay.
Easy.
Do you think the
What's
Broncos
the
cover?
what's the?
Right now it's
5.5.
5.5. Someplace have it at 6.
Yeah, I actually think the Broncos can get a win here.
I'm with you.
Plus 215 to bet him on the money line. Not bad.
Not bad at all.
Not bad at all.
I don't feel bad.
So here's the
I'm
thing
not-
about
that's
the
not a
12 man.
dangerous bet.
Some points I want to
Broncos
make.
cover. Knicks gets a touchdown. Sutton gets a touchdown. Also,
Boom.
at least 2 field goals. Broncos win 20-14.
Yeah, I like that. I like the
I like that a lot.
sound of them apples.
Me too.
I do like Kenneth Walker to score one of those 2 TDs if there's a TD, but
Yeah. Kenneth
So
Walker,
that's-
Walker the second,
the third.
third. Is it?
I think so.
Okay.
We can check.
It's the
I
third.
wonder if there's there's a what's his name? David Sills the 5th, right? Is he the how do you describe that?
I'm Liv Moods 1.
Okay, cool. I'm Nathan Jackson 1.
Trust me, there's not any
The
other
first.
Brandon Kristals, and I did not name my son after me. So we're
I
So the
like
12th
one
man.
better instead of first.
So the 12th man. So there's some ways to mitigate the noise.
Mm-hmm.
They've been practicing all week. You go out there? Do they practice with crowd noise?
it was so there's 2 things going on. There were some jets that flew overhead,
Oh, cool.
and I was like, oh,
Sean Payton Dow.
and I'm like,
called
is
up.
that
Can
the?
you fly some jets over practice
But
to simulate
I'm like,
the 12th man?
Is that? I was like, are they doing crowd noise? And it came and went. But then they started doing the crowd noise. Like, holy crap, that is really loud. And
Was it just white noise?
and I believe they're going to be in. Yeah, it is just.
ASMR.
And that's
You're not going to
no,
believe.
white noise is
Blasting
what it
over
is
the
in Seattle in the stands.
You're not going to
It's
believe
just
this, but
all white people.
I want to say it was Nathaniel Hackett. It might have been before that. One of the coaches played music really loud because they were
Yeah.
like, not only is it loud, if you can focus with super loud music,
Yeah.
not like vibe music and individual and stretch, and no, like super loud. If you can block the lyrics out, then you can block the crowd noise out. But no, they were pumping it in there, heard it. And today they're going to be in the Pat Bowlen Fieldhouse, not because, I mean, I guess the surface is the same, similar as Seattle, but also I think it'll make it even louder when they go over, just our last.
So
Friday
you've got to
stuff.
be prepared to operate without hearing each other speak, which in football is hard because football requires so much nuanced, detailed communication. There's a robust language created to describe what everyone's job is on every single play. You talk to Europeans about American football, they're like, what's with all the starting and stopping? I don't understand what you're talking about. Why are you getting together to talk so much? What you got to talk
That
about?
was a
Just
really
play.
good accent.
Just play, mate. Just go out there and play.
Wait, is that would that be
Cockney.
down under?
No.
That's Australia.
All right.
Yes.
Straight away.
Down under.
England's
Straight
not,
away.
right. England's not down under
No, this is more of a Cockney. Hey man, what you doing? Thing.
like
You
a
know,
like a Guy Ritchie movie.
Listen,
Yeah.
I do have to say I'm really bad at geography. We were watching Family Feud and it said name countries that blank, whatever, I don't remember. Italy was up there. And with the most confidence possible, I shouted with my chest off the couch, Rome! I was convinced Rome would be up there. and it
No,
is
not a country.
not a
Vatican
country.
Rome
City
is in
though.
Italy, though.
Vatican City, which is in Rome in Italy,
Guys,
is a country
Can I tell you something?
Have you heard the term
I
that
don't like
Rome wasn't
geography.
built in a
in a
day?
day. What I mean,
It's true.
But you know what?
There. No,
Every-
I've been there. I've been there.
You can tell
The Colosseum alone probably took at least a month.
I've been. How many cities do you think you've been to?
Thank you. Thank you for laughing.
a
Jay-
month?
That was the joke. Because
Well, I didn't get it, so it wasn't.
do you know what the Colosseum is?
Do you know what any building
Of
is
course,
ever?
where they did the gladiators.
Yeah, it took
Yes.
like freaking 50 million
Just this
years
building
to
took
build
more
it.
than a day. So
Yeah.
of course Rome, an entire city, the first major
Why are
city
you
in the
telling
world.
me this? Of course, it didn't take a damn day to build Rome.
I know it's
What
a saying.
crap
Have you
are we
heard of
talking about here?
it? The point is that good things take time. Liv.
Especially Rome,
Well,
which ages like
if
a
you're
fine
trying to
wine.
relate this to the Denver
city where you
Broncos,
drink wine.
they've had plenty of time. I'm talking over a decade time. So if
Well,
good
they're
things
building
take
Rome.
time,
8 years technically. 'Cause
Building a
you know what,
dynasty.
BK?
They won a Super Bowl.
Cut his
and
mic. Cut BK's mic.
Almost a decade, Liv, like you just almost said.
Anyway.
I actually think they weren't laughing at my joke.
Jay was.
no,
Oh,
definitely not.
I don't know what they're
Okay,
laughing at now.
okay. Settle down, fellas. You will not believe what I'm gonna say next. No. We need to do anytime touchdown scores. You already gave yours. Kenneth Walker III.
Yeah, I can give you a Broncos 2 at the end.
No, I want you to tell.
But he's got the
BK,
lowest odds, 5-1. Like
BK.
last night, Pacheco and Henry both 6-1, both scored.
BK, hear me when I say this. If
Saquon,
someone
6-1
were
on it.
watching this program and they were like, I'm going to tune into off field because I'm ready to make some money.
Mm.
I want you to give your best touchdown scorer. It doesn't have to be Broncos because I think there's going to be more than just a Broncos player in the end
Yes,
zone. So
right.
who do you think it's going to be?
Kenneth Walker III.
Cool. What's yours? What say you, Nathan?
I actually
Noah
s-
Fant?
Is it Nathan or Nathaniel?
It's Nathan.
Do you ever just feel like adding the eel
No,
at
I
the
don't.
end?
I think Nathaniels are dorks. There's a difference between a Nathaniel and a Nathan. It's a total like
One's
philosophical.
an awesome hot
difference here.
dog.
I'm not a Nathaniel.
I've actually met a
Don't
lot of dorky
disparage-
Nathans.
Don't disparage my name like that.
I've met a lot of dorky Nathans.
No,
I'm
you
just saying.
haven't.
Goofy goobers.
You've met one more now,
That's
haven't you?
us talking.
Okay, but no, it's not Nathaniel.
Why are you playing things over the
I'm
loudspeaker?
trying to.
Cut his mic, producers. I've had it.
This
I've
is
had
the guy
it
who
with this guy.
FaceTimes in public.
Yeah, I mean, no, he takes a call and puts it on speaker
Yeah,
and makes
speaker
everybody
phones in
listen.
public.
Yeah.
Never. I never
So
even have my
full of
phone
crap.
on. I swear to God.
You've never taken a phone call on speakerphone.
Not around anyone else.
Back
Not
when-
counting my kids.
Back
No,
when
never.
back when Blackberries roamed the earth, did you have an ear set?
Earpiece. No,
Of
no.
course
Like
you
I had the. I just did it with the headphone, single headphone.
No,
But
I
you-
picture
you
you
have
having one with a microphone.
But
attached
But when
to your ear.
when Bluetooth first came out, though, in general, and I was living in New York, and everyone's like, New York's got a bunch of crazy people anyway, but people are just walking and talking, and you're like, what? Oh, there's a,
Plugged in.
what about the Bluetooth guy? That's still kind of a thing, and I'm like, take your Bluetooth off. You're not on a call. But in a nightclub, that was a thing back in the day, and you're like, I can't hear the
BK
person.
went to nightclubs?
Wow.
Shut up.
Oh,
Shut
yeah.
the house down. Show me some of your moves.
just
how would
'cause I
you
was
pull
there,
all the
I
biddies?
was like, can
Were
I buy you
was
a
it in
drink?
was it in the shoulder?
I'd say, can I buy you a drink? My friend has a table. So let me-
Yeah. No, he would wait around long enough,
Can I get you a drink?
and then at
What
the
was
very
what?
end,
Show me like just a little bit of a bop that you'd pull on the dance floor
I'd never gone on a dance
to pull
floor.
all the
I was
all the
always
baddies.
just like hanging
he's
out
hanging out. He's hanging out. on the
Okay, your
table,
favorite
man.
song comes on in the club. What were you doing? Just
My favorite
standing
song
there stale
in
as
the
hell?
club came on. I was like,
You
yeah.
definitely had a little bit of
Yeah.
grooving going
I was
on.
in the club.
Were you popping?
I mean,
it
if
back?
I went to a club in New York over the
He was going
different
back.
years I lived there, the times that I actually danced had to be less than a dozen. Not because I didn't like dancing.
Well, show me one of those less than a dozen times.
Dance like no one's watching, BK?
But everyone's watching. We literally have thousands of people watching.
Guys, hit the chat and say and let us know if you want BK to start
would just
busting
start
it down right here in the studio.
Oh, there you go. There he is.
Uh-oh.
I was like, are we gonna start breakdancing right now? It's in the Olympics.
I
So maybe
break
you
danced
should.
the other day.
Yeah, he did. He
Did you break
crushed.
danced or broke
Broke
dance?
He did a little broke dancing. Okay, who's scoring a touchdown?
I
Nathaniel.
say Jaleel McLaughlin's going to get.
Whoa,
those
those odds are
Oh.
good odds.
Yeah.
You're talking like
Like it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
think
do you know what those odds are? You want to hear that?
18,
Tell
22 to 1.
I
something like
got
that?
you. Plus 480 anytime tutty.
Anytime.
Anytime.
I would take.
You
that.
like him to take the first one? It's plus 2200.
Really?
Uh-huh.
So you bet 100 and you get
Oh,
2,200.
whoops.
That's right.
I thought I was
Wow.
getting straight to Broncos
Then you can
bets.
buy me my fall tote.
I thought I was getting straight to Broncos bets. It went
Or you can bet it.
just
you
a
can
heads
buy
up.
me
If you
my
see a little
fall
horse icon, it
That's
doesn't
what's fun.
mean you're going to Broncos. It's taking you to horse racing. So
Oh,
you have to specify.
Okay, do you guys want to know who I think is scoring?
yes.
Sure.
Well, I already told you guys about the Javonte Williams one. So
11
that doesn't feel as
1100?
cool anymore. Javonte Williams, I do think is scoring, but I've already
Those are
talked about
first
that one.
TDs.
If we're being fully honest and transparent around here,
Which we are.
I think DK Metcalf gets up in there
Wow.
and makes it happen.
Can I ask you
Okay.
guys a question? Is this a safe space?
Yeah.
What? You didn't say anything. I just gave a pick and you just said,
DK Metcalf.
can I change the subject?
170 plus 170.
So
DK
what do you
Metcalf.
think about it?
I think he's really good. And if Pat Surtain's not on him, he can definitely score on Riley Moss. Or if he's somehow matched up with Jaquan McMillan or the safeties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Riley Moss, I'm a little worried about that.
What about a tutty from Pat Surtain?
That would be
We haven't seen one.
probable.
I can't believe what I just
and
said.
I'm going to have to go to my phone and look this up here in a second. But I looked it up a few weeks ago because we were talking about it was in the Tyreek stuff. How fast did he really run? Because
Mhm.
last year the Dolphins tracked him at like 4 of the 5 or 6 fastest times. But DK Metcalf the last year or two
top
was like right
speed.
up there.
Yeah.
But Pat Surtain, his rookie year, had that pick 6 against the Chargers, and he was over 22 miles an hour. It was the fastest that a DB had run since they had been tracking it.
Jeez.
And so while he didn't, I don't even know if he ran the 40. If he did, it might have been in the 4.4s on that pick 6, which was longer than 40 yards. And then you look it up over what it's been the last few years. That was like in the top 10 of fastest times with the ball in your hand. So Pat Surtain.
Well, you can bet on the
TD would
Broncos
be awesome.
defense to score at plus 950.
But when I mentioned safe space,
BK
So-
doesn't care.
I get that. No, I get that you obviously have a great relationship with FanDuel, worked with them for a long time. I do stuff with DraftKings on KOA, and all week long they're like, look up, it's all about anytime TDs. It's a big thing. And then share some of your thoughts. All week long I've been giving the odds, and I'm like, so-and-so 6-1 to score, 5-1 to score. That was all first touchdowns. It wasn't
Oh.
the minus 105
Anytime.
plus one. So I only did that for 5 straight days.
So you gave
twice.
He's a
false
liar.
information
So he's a
to
liar.
your listeners.
I
He's a
gave
big liar.
accurate information if they wanted to bet first time TDs,
Yeah.
which I did not indicate.
Okay.
So
BK,
otherwise, I'm like,
tisk,
yeah.
tisk.
Saquon 6-1 to score. No, he's 6-1 to score the first touchdown.
Mhm.
Okay, so we've got
Sorry.
Jaleel.
Oh,
Yeah.
We've got, I'm going to say DK. I've already told you guys Javonte Williams is a pick that I like for an anytime touchdown. You like Kenneth Walker III. You also like the Broncos to cover. And you and I like under 200.5 passing yards for Bo Nix.
That's correct.
So I think we've got a pretty good set of bets for you guys. I know you guys wanted a little more betting content. Now here's my question,
I've got
fellas.
one more. I'll throw at you. One
What
more
is this
prop.
guy
I got
doing?
one more prop because
Cut his damn mic.
I'm scrolling.
producer.
I'm scrolling through these. I got one more prop. I'm going to throw at
Jiminy
you.
Christmas. Go ahead, BK.
We haven't seen it all preseason, and I think it's just because of the circumstance of the contest and everything else. I think Marvin Mims is going to go over receiving yards.
How many?
What's
What's
the
it
number? Like the
I
lowest
can
number
show
I'm
you.
looking.
I can pull it up.
Like 30?
24 and a half. Give or
You want me to
take,
pull
probably,
it up
23
for
and a
you?
half.
Oh,
24.
receiving
Interesting.
props. Yeah.
They got to actually want to get him involved.
That's what I'm saying. I think that we will see that.
Yeah.
Not that they were withholding, but
What
But now because
about-
they only have 5 guys.
What about Cortland Sutton over 4.5 receptions for plus 120 odds? I don't hate it.
I don't hate that either.
Yeah.
I don't hate that at all.
How about
We could
Rasheed?
get
Rasheed
5.
Rice's was 5.5. I'm like, he's gonna get that in the first quarter last night.
Yeah,
But he ended
I
up with
got it.
7, which was the.
It hit from me.
I was a little
Okay.
surprised by that. Like I thought.
I mean, they
that-
were.
Yeah. I thought that they would like, Andy Reid might like.
Why were you
punish-
surprised?
punish
It was
him a
my
little-
pick. You
No,
should have
punish him
been
a
like,
little
she
bit
thinks
for his
it, it's
off-field
happening.
antics.
Yeah, make him earn his
Apparently
load
not.
there a little bit more. But after he was done, he did a bunch of stupid shit this offseason.
He did. He
It's like-
really did. You
you
know
know-
what? He should feel so blessed and happy to even be out there
Exactly.
because, you know,
No charges were filed, so I guess he didn't commit a crime.
he committed a crime.
Okay, not according to the district attorney in Dallas, or at least a provable crime, I guess.
Yeah.
Big difference.
It ain't a crime if you don't get caught.
Right.
Spoken like a true psychopath.
Right.
That's
No
right.
body, no crime. Like
That was an old House of Pain song.
Not the body. Okay.
You know House of Pain? Have you ever heard of them?
No.
They sing a song called Jump Around. Have you heard Jump Around?
Jump, jump,
Yeah.
jump around.
Yeah.
Jump.
Close.
Is that it? Actually?
House of Pain, yeah.
Yeah.
No, how does it actually go? Because that can't be it. What? Can you get to the words?
Pack it up, pack it in.
Let me begin.
There you go.
I do know
came
it.
to win, battle me. That's
Watch
a
the
sin.
Wisconsin game this weekend, and they'll be doing it in Madison.
Yeah, I
for
do
sure.
know that one.
That's right.
Okay, finally. I know I didn't tell you this in advance, so I'm putting you on the spot. That was a lot. I
Very
apologize.
ominous.
I actually do apologize for that. That was crazy. Any hot takes for the weekend slate? Any underdogs you guys think are going to either cover the spread or come out on top? I will tell you one that sounds disgusting. You'll probably puke on yourself when you hear what I'm about to say. But I do like the Carolina Panthers plus 3.5 versus the Saints.
Yeah, that's not disgusting.
Well, most people think it is.
I think it's disgusting.
Well, you know what? I
I
think
don't think
you
the
are.
Panthers are very good. think
I
their
don't
quarterback's
either,
very good.
but I'm not sure the Saints are good, and we'll see if Bryce Young, if there's really anything there.
I just like him to cover. I don't
They
like him
gave
to
him
win
a weapon
outright.
in Deontay Johnson. They gave him another one in Jonathan Brooks, who isn't healthy yet, but they did take the best defensive player and trade him to the Giants in Brian Burns. So yes, they had a Josie Jewell, but that's not the same thing. They have Derek Brown up front, but it won't surprise me if they not only cover but steal a win in New Orleans.
I have them covering plus 3.5. That's my underdog of the week. I just think they're going to cover. I like the 3.5 number.
I had a friend
What
in-
say you, BK? Who's an underdog that you think is going to
This
surprise
is an
people?
outright win.
I got one.
Oh, here we go.
The Rams are going to beat the Lions.
Yeah, I definitely have them covering, and I won't be surprised at all if Sean goes there and they win that game with Stafford.
Yeah.
Returning to Detroit and
They almost,
healthy.
and they almost won that game last year in the playoffs.
Right.
So you've got him outright winning
I do.
plus 180.
Yeah, I got to learn to do it with the betting lines.
I'm going to be
and
curious.
stuff
So
like
you
It's
took
all right,
away,
we'll get you there.
like we
Yeah.
talk about players leaving, whatever, retiring in this case, but Aaron Donald, who's been the most dominant defensive player of the last decade and one of the most obviously dominant of all time. I mean, he's all pro all 10 years. That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
He just retired. And there's no way they're better with him gone. So how do they adjust to
Right.
losing that dominant force? But they do have, unlike I think even in week 1 last year, but you've got a healthy Cooper Kupp,
Yeah.
and Puka Nacua clearly was undervalued. And you got healthy backs with Kyron Williams,
Yep.
and then and Blake Corum.
Kyron Williams is on my fantasy team.
Well, that should yield
good
you
luck
some
to you.
points.
You know what?
Do you get return yards?
You guys are both haters.
He's their punt return. I want your
And-
fantasy team to win. I have 8
Yeah.
fantasy teams. Do you want me to tell you how many players
You
I
have
have?
8?
Most of them.
I only have one.
You only have
fantasy.
one player?
You guys want to know something? This is
It's Kyron
my,
Williams.
this is my first
My
year.
lineup's a little
No,
lean.
listen.
What's your team name?
Hey, this is
Kyron Williams.
in a winning moods.
Oh, not bad.
Okay.
Not bad.
You guys are haters. And
Nothing
first
bold
of all,
levers.
this is actually my first year ever doing fantasy, if you can believe it.
That I can believe.
Did that sound like he had some
We're
haterade?
busy gambling
he
the
sipped
whole
on
time.
some haterade.
You're busy gambling. You can be
Little bit.
I
setting your
cannot
lineup.
believe
Is
the
your-
type of
Do you,
bodaciously rude.
who's your quarterback? Bo Nix?
CJ Stroud, and
And
then my
Bo's-
backup is Bo.
Yeah.
Wow.
Had to.
Nice.
Couldn't help myself.
Do you have any other Broncos players on your roster?
No.
Yeah. It's
No,
that,
I
and
don't.
that's kind of a, I think, an indicator of, like, I think Javonte Williams is probably going to have some value in Cortland Sutton, certainly in touchdown heavy leagues.
Jaleel could emerge.
For sure. And that's why I asked Sean that on Wednesday, because he keeps talking about Joker players.
Yeah.
And they don't designate so-and-so as the Joker, but when you have Reggie Bush or Darren Sproles or Jimmy Graham, so he's talked about Joker traits, and he's talked about both with Dulcich and Jaleel. So I said, you keep talking about Joker traits, and you told us that. When do they get designated as the Joker?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I told a joke the other day, I haven't given him his wings yet. And I was like, okay. I was like, I didn't really get the joke, but all right, coach.
Relative to other jokes.
Relative
relative
to
to-
bad.
But I will
Not
say,
having-
like,
relative to bad humor.
the Dulcich thing, I mean, he really, if he shows what he showed when he was healthy and begins to emerge, he could be a guy that puts up some gaudy numbers and becomes a tight end one type of fantasy player going forward. But you just don't know what you have in Dulcich, right? It's like Isaiah Likely had 12 targets yesterday. Once a quarterback likes the tight end, he throws him the
He's
ball.
more likely to throw it to him.
Hey,
Booyah.
What do you think about the addition of Donald Parham? Because we asked
Interesting.
Joe Lombardi about it yesterday, and I said, look, you had Jimmy Graham, because he's like, well, look, they're not the same athlete, but they are 6'8". They are basketball players. And he's like, and anybody who's a good rebounder usually is going to be pretty good in those situations. And obviously we saw Antonio Gates at the top of the list, or Tony Gonzalez, but
doesn't bode well for Lucas Kroll, right? I mean,
despite how great his spring was.
Exactly. So it just shows you how fickle things are in the NFL. And they're always looking to upgrade and always looking to get a little bit better. But, Guys get hurt all the time. At some point, all these guys are going to see the field this season. So you just need a guy to be able to catch that ball and develop a rapport with Bo. It's not just about how athletic and fast you are. It's about feeling the space around you and becoming a friendly target, a la Travis Kelce. He's 35. He can't run as fast as any of these guys we're talking about, but he's savvy and he knows how to get open. So I just hope one of these guys can develop that with Bo and make him believe.
Make you believe.
I believe.
Ability.
I
And
believe,
he's going to wear
and I
a
think
bolo tie like Philip Rivers.
I
Yeah.
think
I heard you
he
say that one.
has the potential to be
Oh, that was good.
wonderful, and I believe that he can really take this team to the Super Bowl.
There you go. Let's keep going back to that. I know we've got to
That's
run. Are we
good.
giving final score
Yeah, we
predictions?
gotta-
And are we sneaking in, as I see our pal JJ across the glass with his CU shirt on, are we sneaking in a Buffs Huskers prediction too?
I don't
Ooh.
watch college football, so you guys take it away.
Yeah.
Think they go there and win?
I don't.
Okay.
I think Nebraska's going to win.
You might be right.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't
Never
like
You know
it.
what?
predicted.
A quick word about Nebraska's quarterback, Dylan Raiola.
You
right?
mean Patrick Mahomes Jr.?
Well, but this guy is the
Is
son
that
of
the one that looks just like him?
Yeah.
he does.
Holy cow.
But he's the son of Dominic Raiola. Dominic Raiola was a center for the Lions, and he was a psychopath.
And a center for the Nebraska Cornhuskers
That's right.
is why he switched from Georgia
That's
late. His uncle's
But
O-line
he
coach.
was. You talk about dogs, right? This guy was a freaking psycho. He'd get in fights all the time in his own locker room, beat the crap out of rookies. Like he was a menace. But I imagine his son was hardened by that sort of tough love. This guy is a killer as well. So
And he looked good in their opener the other
and
day.
he's 6'3", 230. He can sling the rock. He's
Looks-
a good
he
athlete.
really does look like Patrick Mahomes. He wears number 15.
So both quarterbacks, sons of incredible NFL superstars. Obviously, Dion was superior, but Dominic Raiola was a
A
crazy,
lot of Pro Bowls.
Pro
Yeah.
Bowls and feared by opponents. So we'll see if that rubbed off on his son. But I think the Nebraska Cornhuskers are going to
I
win
think
this game.
yeah, especially. I mean, they did have 5 turnovers last year. I think they're gonna win too. But love to be wrong on that.
And when it comes to the Broncos, I'm actually predicting the Broncos win.
Whoop,
I think they're
whoop.
going to get off to a good start. I think the coaching is going to, come down to coaching. Sean Payton's going to situationally handle the game management. He's going to improve on his performance last year. I don't think Sean Payton had a great year last year coaching. I think he has some improvements to make, and he's going to do that. And we're going to find, that Bo Nix was the right guy for the job. Not because he's going to put up gaudy numbers, but he's going to manage the game the right way and escape Lumen Field with a win.
Score?
I say it's going to be 21-15.
Well, 21. So now they win. They cover the other way.
Yeah.
They cover the spread. I think they're going to win 23-20.
Okay.
2-3 to Bo. 23-20.
I think it'll be
So they do cover the over.
24-21 Seattle.
Okay.
So then don't bet the under.
So you don't believe. You're a non-believer.
All right. Hey, she's,
That's unbelievable.
but you should not bet the under if you think that's going to be the score.
Correct. I don't like betting unders.
Yeah, I don't like betting unders across the board in general because it feels unsportsmanlike. You're cheering
Right.
for punts and,
Yeah.
You're
and
cheering for them to
mostly
not
punts.
score. Yeah.
Punts and maybe some field goals, but really just punts.
Okay.
Yeah.
This has been another episode of Off Field with your host, Liv Moods, joined by Nate Jackson and BK. And don't go anywhere this Sunday. After the Broncos game, we will be live for a post-game reaction. I will be right here in the studio to kick things off. Normally, when they're on the road, I may film from my home studio, but to kick things off for week 1, I will be right here in studio. They will be,
Nate's
he will
gonna be
be
with
in
you.
Seattle.
No, I'm not going to.
He's going to be here in
Yeah.
studio with me.
I'll be here with you.
I'll be in Seattle.
And he's going to be in Seattle getting us some information, some sound bites. We'll talk to him. We'll toss to him and say, hey, BK, what'd you see out there? Hopefully we'll be celebrating a good game by the Denver Broncos. But thank you guys so much for being here. We've got football tonight, football Sunday, football Monday. Football is so back. And so is Off Field right here in Guerrilla Sports. We appreciate you. Make sure you're subscribed, following, and tuning into all things Guerrilla Sports Off Field, as well as just Guerrilla Sports. Thanks for being here. We love you. And go Broncos. It's Bo Leave time.